Welcome back to Chat Like a Native. So, have you ever felt stuck in that loop? That one where you study English incredibly hard for, say, one day. You crush a 2 hour grammar session, and then you're just so exhausted you don't look at your notes for a week. If that's you, this conversation is for you. We're here to cure that someday syndrome. You know, that dangerous idea that someday you'll just magically have perfect pronunciation. Today is not about studying harder, it's about a treadmill for your speech. We're talking about getting that natural rhythm and flow in just 10 minutes a day, even when you're completely tired. And the secret isn't more vocabulary lists. It's a concept called shadowing, but probably not the boring way you might have tried before. It's a way to train your brain to process sound and rhythm at the same time. And to make sure this actually sticks, we have a simple four-step system. Just remember four letters. WMFCW is for warm up, waking up the physical muscles of your mouth. M is for micro shadow, following the flow without stopping. F is for focus picking, just one target to improve. And C is for check a quick review to lock it all in. And to break down why this specific method works when, so many others fail, I've got our resident language expert here to walk us through it.
It's great to be here. I love that you're framing this around consistency because someday is, well, it's a fantasy. But 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a reality we can actually work with.
Exactly. So let's just clear the air first. I feel like shadowing is a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot.
It really does.
I've heard people say it's just listening and repeating. Is that basically it?
That is actually the single biggest misconception. And it's why so many people try it, they hate it, and then they quit. Shadowing is definitely not listen and repeat.
Okay, so what's the difference then? Because, to an outsider, they look pretty similar.
Well, think about the mechanics of listen and repeat. You play a sentence, you hit pause,
Right.
and then the silence falls, and then you recite the sentence. That silence is the enemy.
Why? I mean, it gives you time to think, doesn't it?
That's the problem. As soon as the silence hits, your brain disengages from the audio and starts up its analytical engine. It tries to reconstruct the sentence using your internal grammar rules and your native accent.
Ah, I see.
You start worrying about definitions. You start translating in your head. That pause basically invites all your bad habits back into the room.
So the silence is what triggers the translator part of my brain.
Precisely. It lets your brain's default settings for your native language take over again. Shadowing, on the other hand, it just removes that gap. You're speaking with this speaker, usually just a fraction of a second behind them.
It's like a duet.
It's exactly like a musical duet. You aren't waiting for them to finish. You are riding the wave of their voice.
I like that image. Riding the waves.
And because there's no pause, your brain literally doesn't have the bandwidth to get stuck on definitions or grammar rules. You're jamming the radar. You force the brain to bypass the grammar check and go straight to motor output. You're shifting it from intellectual to physical.
It's like jamming the radar so the missile can't lock on. That's a great way to put it. You're bypassing the intellectual filter to get to the physical reflex.
Exactly. You are teaching your mouth to move before your brain has time to object.
That makes so much sense. It's like gym class for your tongue instead of math class for your brain.
Right.
But here's the thing I get hung up on, and I know listeners do too. We get stuck on these specific errors. Like, oh no, I messed up the sound again, or I can't say squirrel.
Right.
Did shadowing fix that kind of specific stuff?
It does, but probably not in the way you think.
Yeah.
When we obsess over one letter, like the leaf, we're losing the forest for the trees. Natural fluency isn't about articulating every single letter perfectly like a robot. It is all about the music of the language.
The music. Okay, let's break that down because I think a lot of us just see English as this like flat list of words.
English has a very specific musicality made up of four main things: stress, intonation, chunking, and linking. If you master the music, you can actually mispronounce individual sounds, and people will still understand you perfectly.
Really?
Yes. But if you have perfect pronunciation and the wrong music, you'll be very hard to understand.
That's so counterintuitive. Can you give us an example?
Let's look at linking, which is one of the options in our focus menu later. This is where most learners get tripped up because, well, schools rarely teach it. We don't speak like typewriters, tap, tap, tap. We speak more like a violin bow. It's one long, continuous sound.
Right, we kind of smush words together.
We do. Take the phrase, cooked it. A learner often says, cooked it.
Yeah.
Two distinct events. A native speaker says, cooked it. The jaw just jumps over to the vowel.
Cooked it. Yeah, it does sound like one weird word.
Exactly. Or take cup of tea. A learner might say, cup of tea. A native speaker says, cup of tea. The of almost disappears.
Yeah.
When you shadow, you aren't trying to say cup and of, you're trying to copy the music of cuppa.
So when I'm shadowing, I'm basically just copying that music directly.
Yes, you're bypassing the rules and going straight to the sound. It's so much faster than studying a textbook on phonetics. You're teaching your muscles to dance to the rhythm of English.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. Let's talk about the setup. This is where I usually fail. I spend like 20 minutes looking for the perfect clip. I get bored and I just give up. How do we set the trap for success here?
The selection problem is very real.
Yeah.
Decision fatigue will kill your habit before you even open your mouth. So the first rule is, do not choose audio every day. Choose it once a week.
Oh, that alone saves so much mental energy.
It does.
Yeah.
Sunday night, pick your clip. And you want to aim for something very short, 20 to 40 seconds of natural speech.
That's it. Just half a minute.
That is all you need. If you pick a 3-minute clip, a whole TED Talk, you'll never get enough repetition to actually master the nuance. You want short, punchy, and clear. And please, pick a topic you actually enjoy. Interest beats discipline every single time.
So no boring news reports if I hate the news.
Exactly. If you hate economics, don't shadow a market report.
Mm-hmm.
And also try to avoid highly emotional acting scenes. If someone is, screaming or crying in a movie scene, the rhythm is just too messy and distorted for a learner. You want a clear, natural speaking voice. Interviews are usually great for this.
Got it. Short, clear, interesting. And the mindset going in.
Don't chase perfect words. Chase smooth speech. If you miss a word, just let it go. You're chasing the flow.
Okay, let's get into the routine. The WMFC. We have our clip. It's Monday morning. I've got 10 minutes before I have to leave for work. Step 1, W, warm up.
Now, be honest. Do I really need to stretch my tongue? I mean, I'm not running a marathon here.
You aren't running a marathon, no, but you are about to ask your mouth to perform gymnastics it wasn't designed for.
Okay, fair enough.
Think about it. If you've been speaking your native language all day, your mouth muscles are set in a specific posture. French requires a lot of lip tension and forward movement. English needs a very loose jaw. The tongue sits differently. You carry that physical tension with you.
So if you start shadowing cold, you're basically trying to force English sounds through a French or Spanish mouth filter.
So the warm-up isn't just to look silly. It's like a factory reset for my mouth.
Exactly. You are breaking the pattern, and we keep it short, just 60 seconds.
What's a good go-to move here?
I love the lip trill. You just blow air through loose lips. They flap together. That hoarse sound. Brrr.
Brr. Okay, I can feel that vibrating my whole face.
It sounds ridiculous, but it
Yeah.
forces your jaw to relax. You literally cannot do it if you're holding tension in your jaw. It physically primes the instrument. Or you can hum while sliding your pitch up and down. It just signals to your body, okay, we're doing English now.
I love that it's physical, not intellectual. It's like stretching before a run. Okay, my mouth is awake. Step 2, M, micro shadow. This is 3 minutes.
This is the core. You play your 30-second clip and you shadow it. You do this twice without pausing the audio at all.
This is where the panic sets in for a lot of people. The speaker is going too fast, you miss a word, and the instinct is to just freeze up.
And that is the exact instinct we're trying to kill. In this micro shadow phase, you have to think like you're a drummer. If a drummer drops a stick or misses a beat, the band doesn't stop, right?
The song keeps going.
The song keeps going. You have to scramble and jump back in on the next beat.
So accuracy is secondary to rhythm.
In this phase, yes. Accuracy is irrelevant. Flow is king. If you miss a whole sentence, just let it go. Catch the next wave.
Now, I have to bring up my favorite part of the research you sent over, the lazy hack. Because let's be real, there are days where even 3 minutes of high-focus shadowing feels like climbing Everest. Maybe you're sick or just exhausted.
The low energy days, we all have them. That is where mumbling shadowing saves your streak.
Mumbling shadowing. Okay, walk us through this.
It's exactly what it sounds like. You play the audio, but you don't articulate the words. You just sort of hum the melody or use nonsense syllables. So if the speaker says, I'm going to the store, you might just say, that.
You're stripping the house down to just the frame.
You're isolating the prosody, the music, without the cognitive load of pronunciation. It keeps your ears engaged, it keeps the rhythm in your body, but it requires almost zero mental effort. It creates this sub-vocalization effect where your vocal cords are still engaging, but you aren't fighting with your tongue.
That is a game changer. It completely removes the excuse of, I'm too tired. You're never too tired to mumble.
Right.
Okay, so we've warmed up, we've flowed with the speaker. Now we move to step 3, F, focus. This is 4 minutes.
This is where the real upgrade happens. In the micro shadow, we were just trying to survive the clip. Now we're going to thrive.
Yeah.
But the key mistake people make is trying to fix everything at once. Intonation, vowels, stress.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Oh, go
You
crazy.
can't do it. You need to pick one target.
Give us the menu. What are we choosing from?
Option A is stress. So you shadow again, but you exaggerate the strong beats. You make the loud words louder and the quiet words like a, to, of, super soft. You almost turn it into a caricature.
So really punching those key words.
Exactly. Option B is chunking. Here you focus strictly on the pauses. I was going to call you, but I got busy. You try to match those little silences exactly.
Okay.
Option C is intonation. You ignore the meaning and just mimic the song, the high notes and the low notes. And option D was linking, like we talked about with Cook did.
Right?
Yeah. If you choose linking, you're basically hunting for collisions. You're asking, where does the consonant crash into the vowel? Where does this T sound turn into a soft D? You're analyzing the mechanics of it.
So you rotate these, like Monday is stress, Tuesday is chunking.
Precisely. It keeps it fresh, and it stops you from getting overwhelmed. You aren't trying to be perfect. You're just trying to be better at one thing today.
That feels so much more manageable. And finally, step 4, C check. The last 2 minutes.
This is the reality check.
Mm-hmm.
Without this, you might just be running in place, making the same mistakes over and over. You have to record yourself.
Nobody likes hearing their own voice. It's the worst.
I know it's painful. But you only need to record the first 20 seconds. And here's the rule. You only listen once.
Only once.
Only once. If you listen 10 times, you will just spiral into self-hatred. You'll start nitpicking things that don't even matter. Listen one time and ask 2 questions. Did I keep the rhythm? And what was one small win?
I like the focus on the win. Hey, I nailed that connection there.
Exactly. Positive reinforcement is what builds the habit. If you have time, maybe identify one messy line and try it again. But then stop. Pack it up. You're done for the day.
That's the 10 minutes, WMFC. But the real magic isn't in doing this once, right? It's in doing it over and over. Let's talk about the rules of consistency, because this was a big deal.
Yes. The consistency rules are the secret sauce. Rule number 1, never skip twice.
Missing 1 day is life. Missing 2 days is a new habit.
Exactly. If you miss a day, that's fine. But the next day is non-negotiable, even if you only do the emergency version.
Which brings us to rule number 2, the emergency version. What is the absolute bare minimum to keep the chain alive?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
1 minute of mumbling shadowing and 1 minute of recording. That's it. It's not about making progress that day. It's about protecting the streak.
Yeah.
It just tells your brain, we don't quit.
And rule number 3 is interesting because it goes against our desire for novelty. Use the same clip for 5 to 7 days.
This is crucial.
Okay, I have to throw a flag here. You want me to listen to the same 30-second clip of, I don't know, some guy ordering coffee for 7 days straight? That sounds like torture. That sounds like the definition of insanity.
It sounds terrible, I know. Our brains crave novelty. We want the new lesson, the new video. But here's what the research on skill acquisition tells us. Novelty is the enemy of mastery.
Because we're always in survival mode.
Exactly. On day 1, you're just trying to survive the sentence. You're scrambling to catch the words. By day 4, you aren't scrambling anymore. You're anticipating. Your mouth knows where to go before the sound even happens. That is the magic zone. You can't play with the intonation if you're still trying to remember the vocabulary. You have to get bored with the words to get excited about the music.
So repetition leads to mastery.
By day 5, you start to feel faster, clearer, more confident. You can actually act it out. And that feeling of mastery is the best motivation there is.
And then on day 7, we do the weekly upgrade.
Yes, on the last day, you record the full clip and compare it to your Monday recording. You will hear the difference. It's undeniable. Then you pick a new focus. Maybe next week you focus purely on intonation, and you pick a new clip.
It's a whole system. I love it. Now let's troubleshoot, because I know listeners are thinking, this sounds great, but
All right.
one common barrier is just feeling silly, walking around your house making weird noises.
It is silly. Embrace it.
Yeah.
But if you are self-conscious, try whisper shadowing. You don't have to shout or do it while walking. There's something about physical movement, walking the dog, pacing the room, that distracts that self-conscious part of the brain. Athletes do drills that look silly all the time. This is your drill.
What if the audio is just too fast? Even with a 30-second clip, sometimes native speakers are just rapid fire.
Speed is the reward, not the starting line. If it's too fast, just shadow the first 10 seconds. Or stick to mumbling for the first 3 days until the rhythm settles in your ear. Do not try to win the race on day 1.
And what about the plateau? You've been doing this for 2 weeks and you feel like you sound the same. Or worse, you feel like you sound worse.
Ah, yes. This
Yes.
is a fascinating phenomenon. It's very common to feel like you're getting worse. But usually that's because your ear improves before your mouth does.
So my standards have gone up, but my skills haven't caught up yet.
Exactly. 2 weeks ago, you're making those mistakes, and you just didn't hear them. You were blissfully ignorant. Now your ear is sharp enough to catch them. You hear the gap between you and the native speaker, and that is painful, but it is necessary. If you hate your voice more after 2 weeks, congratulations, you're improving.
That is such a reassuring perspective. Also, on the topic of hating our voice, is there a biological reason for that?
There is. It's bone conduction versus air conduction. When you speak, you hear your voice vibrating through your skull, which adds bass and warmth. When you hear a recording, you hear it through the air, like everyone else does. It sounds thinner and higher. Everyone hates it. It's not just you.
Good to know I'm not alone in the cringe factor. So, what's a realistic timeline here? If I stick to this 10-minute WMFC plan, what happens?
In 14 days, you'll feel a smoother rhythm. You'll hesitate less. You won't be translating in your head as much.
And longer term?
In 6 to 8 weeks, you start building automatic habits. The pronunciation becomes muscle memory, and you develop a native inner ear, which means you can kind of predict how a sentence should sound before you even say it. That is when English starts to feel like it runs by itself.
That is the dream. So, to recap the mission, you don't need hours of free time. You need 10 minutes. WMFC, warm up, micro shadow, focus, and check.
And remember the emergency rule. 2 minutes is always better than 0.
Absolutely. Now, here's a final thought to leave you with. We've talked a lot about copying the rhythm, copying the stress. But the goal isn't actually to become a parrot.
No, it's not.
The goal is to absorb these patterns so deeply that they become yours. It's not about memorizing a script, it's about physically embodying the language so that when you speak your own thoughts, that music is just there automatically.
Exactly. You are retraining your instincts, not just your memory.
So ask yourself, are you trying to memorize English or are you ready to physically embody it? Give the 10-minute plan a shot and let your muscles do the learning. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Keep talking.